morning, Sam Salinas. No. Mike is here.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Take care.
What up, Joe?
What up? I was looking at the video of Jefe on the news yesterday.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, no, he was doing his segment of Wemby suing that doctor, trying to go ahead and copyright it, Wemby. Good morning, Matt Gomez. Good morning, Chris Gonzalez. Thanks for joining us. David Atwater. Yeah, man. We're going to preview that. It's the Spurs' last preseason game of the season against the Rockets tonight at 7 o'clock, and unfortunately, it's going to be on the Bally Sports app.
Hate Valley Sports.
Welcome to another episode of the Alamo City Sportscast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
What? Hey, what's
Whoa,
up? My
going
goodness.
through puberty there, Mike.
Woo-wee, man. The second time this week that this has happened where I've started off with just a weird voice. I think what's coming down is that fall is in the air. It's chilly outside.
False fall.
I'm getting sick, man. I think it's a welcome to the Alamo City Sportscast.
No, you know
coming
what you
at
need
you
to
from the
do?
west side of San Antonio.
You
Some
need to do-
bourbon,
Yeah, exactly.
some Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
What was
Hey,
up with
for
that?
Christmas, you owe me a bottle of Buffalo Trace.
I think I just owe you a Buffalo Trace just because.
Yeah.
There was that one time when I got sick and I was just racing through it. But this is
You-
the Alamo City Sportscast. We go from 10 to 11:30 here on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitter as well. Lots to get into today. I'm wearing a Spurs shirt because this is the last preseason game before the regular season. Regular season starts 1 week from today. You know, the great thing about this show, Joe, we have 1,040 some odd subscribers, right?
Yeah.
They are part of this show. This is the People's Podcast. David Atwater reached out to me on Twitter earlier today and said, did you see the ESPN analytics on the Spurs this year? And alerted me to something that was a little bit disturbing, Joe. If I had to ask you the question, what are the odds of the Spurs making the playoffs?
Yeah.
A percentage. What do you think is an actual percentage? Do you think they have a 50% chance of making the playoffs, a 25% chance, 20%? What odds would you give the Spurs? Personal belief.
Oh, man. I'd kind of have to agree with what I saw on there. I mean,
Well, don't tell me what you saw.
I
Don't-
know, but I'm saying, I honestly, man, just from what I'm seeing, 5%, 8%.
okay. Even that's low, right?
Yeah.
Some things have. We have Wemby for crying out loud, right? The team has gotten better. Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan. We've got, hopefully they become better. But for ESPN to come out and say, according to their ESPN analytics, to say that the Spurs have a 1% chance of making the playoffs, 1%, the second worst in the entire NBA, behind the Pistons, behind the Trailblazers, behind the Jazz and the crappy-ass Brooklyn Nets, say that the only team that has lower chances of making the playoffs this year is the Washington Wizards. Got me thinking,
Man.
how disrespectful is it? Or is it, as TLC said back in the day, actual and factual, and we just don't even realize it yet? Are we living in a world right now, a bubble of Spurs fandom, where we have optimism in Pop we trust, in Wemby we trust, Chris Paul coming over, Harrison Barnes, Wemby taking the leap, Devin Vassell taking the leap? Do we live in a bubble of that, or is everybody just looking at us and thinking to themselves, wow, your team sucks, and you guys just don't even realize it?
No, I think what it is just Vegas odd makers and, the four-letter networks and all that, like Jeff had posted out there on Twitter, or the X, should I say. They're just trying to keep it real, man. I know Spurs fans are optimistic about the season because we have, two veterans that came on the team. The younger crew, for all intents and
Right.
purposes, is getting better, and the team looks a lot better in preseason. But let's be honest with ourselves. At the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with being optimistic as a Spurs fan. You want the best for your team, and you're hoping they're going to exceed expectations and flirt with the play-in game, or even break on through and get to the playoffs. That's always a possibility. But at the end of the day, I look at the glass half full, and I say, you're bringing in mostly the same roster. You have some veterans. The team will be better, no doubt. But 43 wins, if they even get that, that's not enough to get you into the play-in.
Vegas has the Spurs winning 35 games, 35 and a half.
I have them winning 35-38.
Okay. ESPN says, nope, not at all. In fact, so we had someone asking the question, are they talking about the playoffs or the play-in tournament? Because those are two different things. It used to be that the top 8 teams made the playoffs. Now only the top 6 teams make the playoffs. So it's a 1% chance of being in the top 6. But to make the play-in tournament, Joe, which is the top 10 in the conference, they have the Spurs as having a 2.9% chance. Also the second lowest. Just the Washington Wizards have a lower chance. Now, when it comes to overall record, Joe, Spurs right now are projected to have the third fewest wins, rather, at 31. Still an improvement from last year, but they believe the Spurs are going to be 31-51, and they believe the Spurs will have the worst record in the entire Western Conference. A team that has Victor Wembanyama, a budding superstar, who ESPN says is a top 11 player in the NBA this upcoming season. That has a Stephon Castle, number 4 overall pick coming in from UConn. That has Chris Paul, even though he's 39, 40 years old, running the point. That has a 5-time champion in Greg Popovich at head coach. They're looking at the Spurs, the analytics at ESPN, saying, your team sucks. And
I don't know about that.
I mean, are we just going to be eternal optimists about this? Is it possible the Spurs season ends by Christmas?
No, Mike, you always like to be the Debbie Downer. But what's going on here? You like to be the villain. You like to play the villain. What's going on here is that the West is stacked. Let's be honest. If you're comparing the Western Conference to the Eastern Conference, if the Spurs were in the East, they might have a shot. But they're in a stacked Western Conference where you have other teams. And be honest with yourselves as a Spurs fan, other teams ahead of us that are better.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're looking at, another team that's just a stone throw away from us over in Houston, you're a frequent visitor to Conroe. They make fun of you trying to go ahead and be a Rockets fan. Your girl trying to convert you.
No, thank you.
But even the Rockets at this point are better than the Spurs as currently constructed. Anything can happen. But at the end of the day, you have to go into the season being optimistic and saying, this team will be better. They're playing better. But as far as making the playoffs, I don't see it, man.
Tavares saying it's the product around Wemby, Mike. Devin ate him. Sohan ate him. Need another superstar next to Wemby. Hand of a Fist says Spurs need to have a better record than 5 teams in the play-in. So asking the question, well, who is that going to be? Well, according to ESPN Analytics, they believe that the number 1 team in the entire NBA makes sense is the Boston Celtics, right? Projected to have 56 wins. But on the Western Conference, which is what matters, number 1, they have the Oklahoma City Thunder. 51 wins projected.
Yeah.
Dallas Mavericks at number 2, who the Spurs start the season on the road against 1 week from today. So Oklahoma 1, Dallas 2. They have Minnesota at 3, Denver at 4, Memphis at 5, and the Lakers at 6. So those are the 6 play-in teams right there. Oklahoma, Dallas, Minnesota, Denver, Memphis, Lakers. Play-in tournament teams they have as the Suns, the Kings, the Pelicans, and the Clippers. And they believe, ESPN Analytics, that it's going to take 42.5 wins to make the play-in tournament. So just barely over 500. Last year, it took 46. So despite the fact that ESPN's projecting 3 fewer wins gets you into the play-in tournament, they still believe the Spurs have less than a 3% chance of making the play-in.
Well,
Now below that,
yeah. Okay.
at 11, they have the Rockets. At 12, the Warriors. 13, the Jazz. 14, the Blazers. And at 15th in the Western Conference, they believe the Spurs are going to have the number one chance, possibility, 14% chance. We got Wemby, 14% chance of getting Cooper Flag. Are we going to do Team Tank all over again? Team Tank 2025.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. But you have a total of 15 teams in the Western Conference, right?
Right.
The Spurs right now, as they're currently constructed, are better than the Portland Trailblazers. They are better than the Utah Jazz. Now, being realistic as a Spurs fan, are the Spurs better than the Memphis Grizzlies? Are they better than the Houston Rockets, the Golden State Warriors, Sacramento Kings, Lakers, Pelicans, Suns, Mavericks, Clippers, Timberwolves, Nuggets, or the Thunder? Are they better than any of those other
We're
teams?
not better than the Thunder. We're not a top tier team.
No.
Okay,
I mean,
but
they're going to be better than the lower tier, better than Portland and Jazz.
I think the Spurs are better than Portland. I think the Spurs are better than Utah. I think the Spurs are better than Golden State. I mean, I know you have Steph Curry over there, but I would rather have a second-year superstar in Victor Wembanyama than have an aging superstar who doesn't have Klay Thompson anymore in Steph Curry and an aging star in Draymond Green.
Yeah.
I think the Spurs are better than Golden State. The Rockets are that team. I think the Spurs could be better than the Pelicans because the Pelicans rely on Zion Williamson.
And look at who are the Spurs better than.
That's what we're trying to figure out.
They're not better than the Pelicans, dude.
No, they're better than the Pelicans without Zion. I would bet on the Spurs against the Pelicans if Zion's not out there. Now Zion is out there, and Zion misses half the season most of the time because he's damaged goods. With Zion, New Orleans is better. Without, I think the Spurs can go toe-to-toe with them. Although they did pick up DeJounte Murray this past offseason.
Yeah, they said Tony Ornelas, can the Spurs make the play-in? I don't know.
Do you know who's a low-key crappy team? It's just a great roster, but a crappy team is the Phoenix Suns. I can see the Spurs being better than the Phoenix Suns.
I don't know, man. The Suns have a better plethora of talent.
But they sucked ass last year. They did nothing with that talent last year. Devin Booker and Durant don't work well together. I could even make the argument the Spurs are better than the Lakers.
Let's put it like this. The Spurs plan might not be to tank, but if they're only better than two other teams or three other teams in the Western Conference, it might happen by just them not being a very good team. You know, they're going to be better, but does better mean that you're going to get over that hump and you're going to be better than the other teams that are ahead of you in the Western Conference? Probably not.
This kind of depressed me as the season started because I'm looking right now at the odds of making the lottery, and they have that right now the Spurs, Pistons, and Wizards would have the best chances of landing Cooper Flag. Again, 2025 draft is supposed to be super loaded. The Spurs also have Atlanta's pick, so people are mentioning Atlanta's pick. They believe that Atlanta is going to be the 9th worst team in the NBA. So the Spurs would get the number 9 pick from Atlanta. And they believe Chicago would be the 10th worst team in the NBA. Again, that pick right there is top 10 protected. So the Spurs would be on the cusp of having 3 first-rounders if everything came to form. Imagine that fell to 11, right? Imagine the Spurs drafting at 3, 9, and 11 in a loaded draft.
Matt Lerma, Blazers over Spurs is just straight.
I know. Let's look at that Blazers lineup here. That
Blazers lineup is garbage, bro. The Spurs are better than the Blazers.
That lineup, that Denny Avdija, DeAndre Ayton, Donovan Clingan, Jeremy Grant, Scoot Henderson, Wolf, Anthony Simons, Matisse Thybulle, Robert Williams III. They got some players. They've got a handful of players, but they don't have a Wemby. You know, they don't have anybody that's a superstar on that team. And you're trying to tell me that team is somehow going to have a better playoff chance than the Spurs? Straight up disrespectful, Joe.
Look at that, Roy. He's saying, you're crazy, Mike. He's saying the Spurs aren't better than the Suns.
I'm saying that they can be. I think that the Spurs, if they take the leaps, if Wemby becomes a superstar, are we all under the belief that Kevin Durant's going to be young his entire life? Kevin Durant is going to get old, and we see that with players. Kevin Durant right now is 36 years old, turns 37.
Yeah, look at
in a couple of
Hanover
days.
Fist says the Clippers, they might suck this year.
Yeah, especially with Kawhi Leonard out there. Sorry, Kevin Durant just turned 36. These are aging superstars, man. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. This is not 2020. This is 2024. This isn't 2015. This is 2024.
JHNSB, where we aren't even going to make the play-in.
Well,
Stop
ESPN saying less than a 3% chance. So why are we watching these games, Joe? Why are we watching these games?
It's false hope. Just why does Cowboy fan watch every weekend?
Just
in
for
hopes
hope.
that they'll win. Jerry dies.
Man.
Hey, we should take bets on that. How many years does Jerry got left?
Oh, dude.
Celebrity
death
watch,
pools.
man.
I did a celebrity death pool many years ago. I know that Mike Taylor made his really popular on Thunderdome back in the day on the Mike Taylor show. But I took part in one 20 some odd years ago, man. And I won, dude. There was a lot of celebrities that died. Dude, there was a big celebrity death last night. I don't know if you saw that, but Liam Payne passed away.
I saw that from One Direction.
Yeah, the One Direction
The only
star.
reason I know that is because my daughter likes that band when she's growing up, right?
Right.
And we told her in the group family chat that we have, she thought it was a joke, right? And then she says, "Oh my God, it's not a joke." And we're like, "Told you he died, man."
I mean, and you know what's so funny is that you talk about boy bands.
Yeah.
There are good boy bands out there. There are bad boy bands out there. Like, for example, Boys to Men is a good boys band, right? You can't diss End of the Road and I'll Make Love to You and Motown.
Who is better?
It's a boy band, yes.
Who was better, Boys to Men or Color Me Bad? Because I know you're a fan of both.
Okay, I am a fan of both, but Color Me Bad is a bad boy band, right? That's guilty pleasure. There's good songs and guilty pleasures, right? Good song would be like
I hated them to death. Dude.
Good song would be like End of the Road. Guilty pleasure would be like I Adore Mia More or I Want to Sex You Up, right? One Direction, out of all the boy bands that have been out the last 15, 20 years, is a very, very good boy band. What Makes You Beautiful, was one of their big songs. Midnight Memories, lots of things that lots of songs. Story of My Life is a great song that they did back in the day. And every single member of that band had a hit as a solo artist. Harry Styles being the superstar of the bunch. But we'll talk more about the passing of Liam Payne. And was it wrong for TMZ to post video and photos of his body?
Oh, bro, that's bad. That's in bad taste.
He fell out of a hotel window, fell 45 feet to his death.
Poor guy, man. Look, Chris Gonzalez, Mi Amor is a banger.
Dream on, dream away. We gotta do that song together, baby. I can't do that song by myself.
Damn, look at that. David Outwater says Thomas J. Henry, the lawyer,
yeah,
his daughter dated Liam Payne at one time.
It's brutal, man. We'll get into that in celebrity news later on, but we're talking the Spurs season. It's kind of upsetting, because you see the Spurs last year. What did we say about the Spurs? Well, they were young,
no experience.
But who was the youngest team in the NBA last year? Beside the Spurs, Oklahoma City Thunder, and yet they're somehow pretty good.
Yeah.
So maybe, just maybe, pop in the front office, RC, Brian Wright. Maybe they're just not that good at what they do. We have a lot of draft capital. Can you imagine if the Spurs had not gotten that 14% chance of winning the Wemby draft? Can you imagine if we're sitting here with Osar Thompson?
Yeah.
Or Amen Thompson instead? What will our projection be? 18 wins? 16 wins? We lucked into a 14% chance, and thank God that we did. Now do something about it.
Do something. Poking him with the stick. Do something.
I just wonder, I'm not going to go on a pop rant, but maybe it's a front office rant. Maybe it's a Brian Wright thing. Brian Wright's been collecting a bunch of picks, and our good friend John Dyer says that the good thing about that is that it provides hope and it provides job security, because he can always say, "Well, I haven't made my picks yet," right? And he throws them out into the future, and we pick up a 2031 draft, which may very well be in the Spurs' benefit.
Well, I'm going to tell you something like this. What do these picks tell you? And you got to be honest with yourself as a Spurs fan. Oh, we're collecting picks. You can't hang on to all these picks. But what does it tell you? at some point in time down the road, the Spurs do plan on making a trade, right? That's what all these picks are being collected for, right? At some time down the road, this team is going to upgrade itself, right? And again, like I keep telling Spurs fan, don't get used to these players that y'all fall in love with, because you can't tell me that the Spurs won't say goodbye to any of them except for Wemby if the price is right. Because look what happened. They said they'll never trade Sean Elliott. They'll never trade Malik Rose, right?
They're right.
They're never going to get rid of Bruce Bowen. They gone. DeJounte Murray, gone.
Derek White,
gone. You know, come on.
Now, there's a lot of truth to what you said there, Joe, but I look at it this way. 2022 rolled around, and I thought there was no way in the world the Spurs were going to draft 3 first-rounders, and they did. Jeremy Sohan, Malachi Branham, and Blake Wesley. How excited are you about that draft, Joe? Where the Spurs had 3 first-rounders, and we got Sohan, Wesley, and Branham. Does that excite you at all?
No, that didn't excite me. It pissed me off, actually, because you know who made some moves? The Rockets.
Yeah.
And they got a plethora of players that Spurs fans had wanted. The Spurs said, nah, we good. We like the team we have.
Well, the problem with that, though, is that Houston has the ability to attract players because people want to go to Houston. The players want to go to Houston. That's the thing that we need to combat, and that's why trades need to happen. The Spurs aren't going to lure free agents around here.
Look at Chris Gonzalez.
Are the Spurs the dead body from Stand By Me?
Jeez.
You want to go see a dead body? Because we know that no one wants to come over here as a free agent. It's true. It's true. Why does Houston get free agents? Well, you just go to Houston. There's a thriving African-American community over there, right? There are fun things to do over there. It is a big city, and that is a big draw, right? La Villita does not attract players. Our downtown and the Pearl does not attract NBA players. It doesn't. So you either have to draft them or trade for them. But the Spurs have been reluctant to trade for good players. And that's the thing, is that it takes a premium. If we were going to go get Trae Young, and don't get me wrong, I would have enjoyed it, but I'm kind of glad that they didn't, right? I would have been more excited about Lauri Markkanen. But the Spurs have to trade at some point. And if the Spurs think that they're going to trade 3 first-rounders for a star, they're wrong.
Yeah, so what has this team done in the last couple years here? They have done absolutely nothing prior to them, getting Wemby, lucky shot there that they got Wemby at number 1. Prior to that, what did they do? They saw the other teams in the West getting better, making moves. Spurs did nothing. And this was something that happened over the course of a couple of years. It didn't happen overnight. You saw these other teams doing things to get better and prepare for their future. And what did the Spurs do? Absolutely nothing. Nothing.
Well, the one that's been pulling all the trades and getting all the things done the right way is Sam Presti. And that's a sad thing because Sam Presti, was with the Spurs as an executive for many, many years. And we let him go. And there's been a talent drain from San Antonio over the past 10, 15 years. We saw Presti go. We saw the shooting coach go. Right? The shooting doctor is what they would call him, right?
Yeah.
We saw him go to Oklahoma City. We've seen talent on the coaching side from Will Hardy to Mike Budenholzer to
gone.
Ime Udoka to all of these guys over the years. Becky Hammond gone. And what do we have left?
Pop.
We have Pop and we have Brian Wright.
And don't get me wrong, man. I love me some Pop, like you said. And I totally agree with what I say here, and I stand on it, even though I know you don't like it. But when you win 5 chips, you get to call your shot, right? I understand that at some time in the future, he will decide to call it quits. But for now, I like me some Coach Pop. But look at what JHNSB says. We have our centerpiece. Can't be drafting rookies, expecting them to be playoff ready. And this is true. I mean, you look at what's happening with Stefan Castle right now. Kid looks ready, right?
Yeah.
He looks like he's ready to take that leap. Well, just see how it translates into the context of a regular basketball season. In preseason, you can look like a world beater, playing against, second and third stringers out there. But when you're playing against that top tier talent out there in the court, They can humble you a little bit.
They can, but I'm not worried about Castle. Castle's one of the few rookies that I would not be worried about.
I'm not.
He'll
worried
have
about
his bumps and bruises, but I'm not worried at
Exactly.
all. That guy's
Exactly.
an NBA player.
No, he is NBA ready, but I'm saying in the beginning, though, like you said, he might have some growing pains there, but I think he's going to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at the Spurs roster right now, and I think to myself, what would other teams have done? Imagine if the Dallas Mavericks or the Houston Rockets, let's forget the rest of the NBA. There's 3 teams we should focus on: Houston, Dallas, and Oklahoma City, because they're the ones that are closest to us. They're also the ones that we have familiarity with, right? We have familiarity with the Oklahoma City Thunder because they're young just like us. We have familiarity with the Rockets and the Mavericks. We play them all the time. They're in-state rivals. They're division rivals. Had they drafted Wemby, they would have moved mountains to get talent around him immediately. The fact that the Spurs have gone 2 years without doing it is malpractice. It is. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to be there cheering the Spurs on when the season starts and all that stuff, right? Because I'm a Spurs fan. We got no talent around him. We had no talent around Wemby. We got Stephon Castle.
Role players around Wemby.
Yeah, we got decent players. We got players that are going to make a game good.
Yeah.
We're going to cover lots of spreads, Joe.
You ain't got bucket getters, bro. You ain't got bucket getters until you go out there and you can see another player besides Wemby take over a game consistently. That's a bucket getter. That's a bucket getter.
Can I make a prediction?
Yeah.
This is going to be the last year we get of nice Wemby. This is going to be the last year of nice Wemby. I believe that in 12 months, we're going to see Alpha Wemby come out, Kobe Wemby come out, LeBron Wemby come out. That's what I'm predicting.
Unleashed. I like it.
I believe he'll be in charge of the team, and whatever he wants goes.
Or he can be gone too.
Well, exactly. You know how you said Pop can make his call, Pop can make his no. If Wemby wants Pop gone for whatever reason, you're done.
You know who was, look at this. I like this comment here. JHNSP. Spurs hate shooters. And case in point, guess who was available on the free market right now?
Well, Doug McDermott apparently.
Dougie McBuckets.
Well, the Spurs did that trade with Sacramento, and it came out that they did that in order for Doug McDermott to have enough salary cap space to go over there and sign the contract he wants it. So the Spurs only got a second-round draft pick out of it. They did a solid for one of their former players.
Yeah.
And in the process made a conference rival better.
Yeah. And the thing
I don't know about
look
that.
at JHNSB. Spurs hate shooters.
Back in the day, it wasn't the case, man. I remember when the Spurs had Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard. The Spurs had Boris Diaw and Manu and all these shooters.
Who's saying this here? Tavares, go get Lonnie Walker. No, bro.
I thought you were going to say no.
No, man. We good, dude. They got rid of Lonnie for a reason, man. He's going to be a journeyman. He's never going to be able to put it together consistently. And is Lonnie better than what we have now?
And he's around the same talent.
Yeah.
JHNSB, if Wemby leaves, are you guys going to follow him to his new team or staying as Spurs fan? You know what? That might be unforgivable if the Spurs lose Wemby, because when the Spurs lost Kawhi, because Kawhi was weird. And he had an Uncle Dennis and all that stuff, right? So it was easy to kind of get over Kawhi because the guy was a dick.
Yeah.
Right. So that was kind of easy. But you try to do that with Wemby, and if Wemby leaves and he says, they didn't give us anybody, they didn't give me any help.
Yeah. You know when it all changed for Kawhi? When the Pelicans, I think it was New Orleans, they hosted that NBA All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
And Kawhi was over there, and they had him in a freaking Uber or something like that, a rented car.
Yeah. Traveling
to the arena. And he's looking at all these other superstars, right? Traveling in limos and all that. And it was just like that song from 3 Doors Down. Why can't that be me? He said, F this shit, dude. I'm done. That's when he came back and he told them, you know what? I'm pulling up lame. I got some pain here, man. I'm done.
Dude, do you think the Spurs fans have it in them to go 22-60 again?
I think they might have it in them, man. It depends on how this team plays. And like I said, I don't think they're going to actively try to tank, but the product that's going to be put out there isn't going to be good enough to be better than all these other teams in front of them in the West.
If the Spurs are 3-12 after 15 games, I'm pulling the
Team
plug.
Tank?
Team Tank
You're
by
gonna wear
December
the shirt
15th.
to the arena?
So this is not a flip-flop. I am going for Spurs wins, and I would love for the Spurs to make the play-in tournament, right? I would love for the Spurs to win 40 games and all that stuff. So I'm not advocating for a tank on October 17th, 2024. I want the Spurs to go out and beat Dallas's ass. I want them to come back home and beat the Rockets twice. I want them to go to Oklahoma City and beat them, right? But we start the season 0-4. We start the season 3-15, 5-18. Joe, we're gonna resurrect Team Tank, baby. We're gonna resurrect it.
Oh man, I don't think they're going to actively tank, but I don't think that they're going to be better than a lot of the other teams in the West. So you go ahead and you do the math, and what does that tell you? Right around 33, 35 wins.
So if we went this much better and everyone else went that much better, it still results in losses.
Yeah, I'm saying it.
I mean, Wemby's going to have to be a top 5 player in the league this year in order for the Spurs to sniff 500.
Yeah, I'm just saying 33, 35 wins is very doable, man. You know, I think
I'm
you know
hoping for it.
And the Vegas odd makers, they usually are very close in their predictions.
I want the Spurs to be a player come the trade deadline in February. I want the Spurs to look around and say, "Hey, man, we're 30-30. Let's make a run. Let's go get a player."
Or exactly. Let's make a trade.
Let's make a trade. I would love for that to be.
Is CP3? Be honest with yourself. CP3, is he going to finish the season as a Spur?
He's going to finish the season as a Spur, but he's going to finish the season on IR.
I don't know, man. I think that the Spurs, if they have a good trade come their way, he might be one that, you know, gets traded, gets bundled in there. His contract is very attractive.
You know, I want to talk about another Spurs player. We brought him up yesterday for a little while. Keldon Johnson.
His contract is attractive too, man.
He is. It actually gets lower by the year. Harrison Barnes has been struggling, and it is possible that Harrison Barnes might have just gotten old. Harrison Barnes has played 82 games, all 82 games, back-to-back seasons. He's kind of an Iron Man when it comes to it. He's 32 years old. That's not that old in the NBA, but it's not your prime anymore. Is it possible Harrison Barnes finds his way out of the starting lineup? I think that he'll be in the starting lineup to start the year out of respect. But if he gets pushed back down, Joe, who would you rather have start? Would you rather have Julian Champagnie start? Would you rather have Keldon Johnson start at the 3?
No, Keldon, I want him to stay exactly where he's at. They need balance on that second unit, and he's going to no doubt make the second unit better. I think you go with Champagnie.
Yeah. Champagnie, prove it to me in the regular season.
That's exactly what Coach Pop said. You want playing time? Go get it. Go prove it to me.
There have been some games where Julian Champagnie, I went to one in Austin where he was just on fire. You look at him, he gets 17, 18 points, knocks down 2 or 3 3-pointers, and you're like, who is this guy? There have been games. You and I went to one last year where we laughed the entire time because he looked lost.
Yeah.
And he looked like he literally got no stats. I remember going, hey, Joe, we have the exact same stat line as Sam Champagnie.
0
in 20 minutes. You know, he has 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 shot attempts. So do we. And everyone's telling me, oh, well, he's a lockdown guy. No one's a lockdown guy. There's only one lockdown guy in the Spurs. Yeah. His name is Wemby, right? Second one is second tier when it comes to defense is Sohan and Castle, and then maybe Champagnie would be 4th. But I'm interested to see what comes out of these lineups, because, and is Pop going to be, you know, hesitant to pull the trigger on moves? Is he going to be stubborn like he always is when it comes to lineups? Or is the hand going to be forced upon him because of injuries? You know, I always hear like, oh, well, this, you know, like certain players made it onto this team because of injuries.
Yeah.
Right. They were going to be sent to Austin, or they were going to be nailed to the bench. Will Pop be stubborn?
I look at Matt Lerma. He says this could have easily been an F Vegas show, but it turned into a Spurs suck show. Oh, and I'm not saying that the Spurs absolutely are terrible. We're just trying to be realistic about the season. You know, I know that Matt Lerma is very optimistic about the season, as a lot of Spurs fans are, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, you can't sit here and tell me that the Spurs are better than some of these other teams we named in the West.
Do you know what this reminds me of? Over the summer, talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Everyone seems surprised that the Cowboys gave up 119 points in 3 home games.
Yeah.
We're not surprised. And there are certain fans out there who look at the Cowboys and it's our year, we dem boys and all that stuff. But I will say this about you, Joe. You were at least realistic. You knew that the Cowboys had no running game. You knew that the Cowboys didn't have a wide receiver too.
No defense.
And you knew that the Cowboys had no defensive line and that they didn't make any adjustments to it.
None.
They didn't bring in any big names. They did not sign Derrick Henry. They did not bring in big names on the defense. They did not draft a wide receiver. You look at it and you go, wait a minute.
It got worse.
The Eagles we got worse, right? The Cowboys got worse. The Eagles got better. The Commanders got better. Everyone around them is getting better. The Packers are getting better. Yeah. The Niners are still a really good team. The Lions are getting better. You stood there, Joe, as a Cowboy fan, a diehard Cowboy fan, but a realist, and looked around and said, this ain't it.
No.
You were optimistic. You started the season going, I hope we win.
Hope they win.
I hope these guys that were on the bench prove me wrong, right? But at the end of the day, in the back of your mind, you knew what you knew, and you knew that team was not going to go anywhere. It was probably a 7-win team, 7 or 8-win team.
You knew that the holes plugging up the sinking ship were going to give.
Right.
And
I think that's where we are with the Spurs. I think right now with the Spurs, we're looking at it going, man, if Wemby takes a leap, if Sohan gets better and is a more effective shooter, if this and that and the other, this and the other, all of these ifs need to come into play. And when you're going into a season with a bunch of ifs, more than likely you're going to be disappointed, right? We're going to be sitting here 2 months from now, Joe. We're optimistic now, right? Season starts October 24th against the Dallas Mavericks. We're optimistic right now. But there's a very good chance that we're doing the show in January, Joe, where we're looking back going, Spurs got nobody in the offseason.
Oh, they did get somebody.
We got a 40-year-old point guard out of it.
Harrison Barnes and CP3.
And we got Harrison Barnes, an agent small forward who's talented. But there's a very good chance that in January, just 3 short months from now, we're going to have a conversation where we're like,
this ain't it.
This ain't it. We might have that conversation where we'll be like, hey, man, this is Pop's 6th year in a row of a losing record.
Yeah.
We might be having this conversation all over again. I don't want to have that conversation yet. But let's just say that we're not going to be surprised if that actually happens.
Yeah. So, you know what? I'm going to throw this out there. You're still here, Matt Lerma. I need to go ahead and put together some guests for the show this week, previewing the Spurs' upcoming season. So Matt Lerma's still in the chat. Might get him to go here and talk with him and my boy Rick Fernandez about what they think about the upcoming season. And we're going to have a real discussion here.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that the Spurs suck. I'm just telling you, as a Spurs fan, you can't sit here and tell me as we go down the list of teams that this team is actually better than, let's say like a Memphis Grizzlies team, like I said, Golden State, Sacramento, Lakers, Pelicans, Suns, Mavericks, Clippers, Timberwolves, Nuggets, and Thunder. The Spurs are better than these other named teams. Can't tell me that.
Now, I can tell you that the Spurs could creep into the number 10 spot because I don't believe in the Lakers. LeBron, Father Time is undefeated, and that even means LeBron. Anthony Davis is always hurt, so I can see the Spurs finishing better than them. The Suns are dysfunctional, and I can see themselves trading away parts. Okay? New Orleans always has injuries. I can see the Spurs catching them. I can see the Spurs beating Portland. I can see the Spurs leapfrogging over Utah. So I do see a pathway to it all.
Yeah, there is a path. It just might not happen this season.
But I don't see a path to the Spurs being a top 6 team.
Unless they make a trade, man. That's the thing. They're going to have to go ahead.
Baby, we did a trade this week, baby. We got a second rounder in the year 2080.
They let somebody go to get that trade. They assumed a bad contract just for picks.
Yeah.
Second round.
Someone earlier, I think it was Hanover Fist, it might have been Hanover Fist or Tavarius, who said, that rookie and when the rookie the Spurs get in 2031 when Wemby is 26
convey
is not going to really help him.
Oh man.
Tavarius, Matt, they keeping it real, man. JHNSB, some people can't stand the truth. Truth hurts.
Was it that Jack Nicholson line? You can't
handle the truth. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. You want me to tell the truth. You need me to tell the truth, man. Roy says, Matt, you're wrong. We're a horrible team.
Look at Tavares, Matt. Which team are the Spurs better than in the West?
Okay, so for those of you just joining us right now, this all started because ESPN analytics were released, and they say the Spurs have less than a 3% chance of making the play-in. That means 1 out of 33, Joe, and have a 1% chance, just a 1% chance of finishing in the top 6 this year.
You know what's funny to me that I look at this, man, and a lot of the most popular guys, right, that these Spurs fans go after, right, and they follow on the X and social media and all that. All they always do is sing the praises of the team. Oh, they're so good. You watch, Sohan's gonna be this and that this year, and they're always singing the team's praises all the time. They can never do no wrong. Why? I mean, they're doing it to feed into the fan base. But at the end of the day, you know damn well that these same people behind closed doors are saying, this team ain't it.
Yeah.
They just say what you want to hear. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're all in, this and that, that Spurs are going to be great this year. They know damn well that's not the truth.
We hope to be wrong, right, Joe?
I hope to be wrong, but I'm just telling you I know the team's going to be better. I'm not saying they're going to be absolutely garbage. No, they're going to be better. They're going to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in a lot of these games, they don't get blown out. They lose by 10 points. They lose by 8 points. That's fine. That's showing you the team is getting progressively better. But with the cast that you see around Wemby, I'm telling you, as a diehard Spur fan, this ain't it, man. This ain't it. They need bucket getters. They need some dogs out there. And this team that's currently constructed will be better, but they're not going to get you to the promised land, man.
Can I say it, Joe? You know what I want to say.
Go ahead.
It all starts with the bench.
Oh, man.
We need new leadership on that bench. We need a younger guy out there to get this team in shape. We don't need some guy sipping wine all day long anymore. I don't care how many rings he's got. We need a youth movement all over the place. Mitch Johnson, take over. You're on deck, baby. You're on deck. I'm looking at tickets for the Spurs opening game against the Dallas Mavericks at the American Airlines Center in Dallas. I would love to go to this game. Joe, the tickets are pricey, my man, for opening night.
I saw
$300 for the cheap seats over there. They do have some on the side. $80 a ticket. Ooh, look at that last row up there. Should I go over there in a Wemby jersey, Joe?
Go in a Rockets jersey.
Well, homegirl does live in Houston, so maybe I'll take her over there. Which is funny because she claims to be a Rockets fan, but she says that to piss me off. Her kids are actually Spurs fans.
Oh, nice. So look, Matt Lermer's still here. He's on the road right now. But Matt, I'll reach out to you, man, privately, so I can go ahead and schedule to be a guest this week on, Area 210.
Joe, went for a walk last night. I got to show you something.
Oh, God. I think I know what you're going to show me. I saw that. Where is it, man?
Let me see here.
This story is unavailable. You better not be looking at the cochinos again.
Oh, I have no idea what it is. I just went on here. You could probably go onto my page because I don't know if I'm on the right. Continue as Joe. So I'm going for a walk last night, and it was chilly, dude. Dude, one of your things over here allows me to go on Twitter. One of your search engines does, and the other one does not. Anyway, I was going for a walk yesterday, and I came across the cows again, Joe. Can you go onto my page from where you're at?
I can't. I'm waiting.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let's slow internet today, Joe.
It's not me, actually. You know what's happening? It's the X.
Really?
The X has been slow. Elon getting cheap, bro.
He's using dial-up over there?
I think what's happening is their servers are getting clogged.
That only happened. That never happened before Elon.
No,
it's funny how people think that Elon Musk is a genius, and really he's just a guy with a lot of money.
Exactly. He's not the guy that has all the brains, that does all the stuff that people use every day. He's just the guy with the cash.
So this was my view yesterday as I was going for a walk in my neighborhood. Okay, I live in a nice neighborhood, right? These are all brand new houses in a new part of the development at my neighborhood, right?
Meat's expensive nowadays, dude. That's like steaks and hamburger.
Okay,
brisket.
that cow right there was slow. There was a second cow that was there. That MFer was fast, man. It ran by me like the bulls at Pamplona. Just ran right by me. So it's kind of funny because apparently there are some ranches in the area. I live in West Bear County, and there's some ranches in the area, and apparently one of the fences is down, and these are good cows during the day, but at night they just go for strolls, man. They're going up and down the neighborhood. My kid's old elementary school is 1 block from where this photo was taken. They're getting closer and closer to traffic. Can you imagine, Joe, driving 40, 45 miles an hour through a neighborhood or this city, this block right here, and hitting a cow? Hitting a cow.
Damn. Can you imagine the damage that's going to do to your car? You hit that damn cow.
Dude, that cow would be perfectly fine and the car would be jacked up.
It's all plastic nowadays, dude, and thin sheet metal.
Yeah.
That cow be like, all right.
So I went for a walk a couple of weeks ago, and as I was walking up the street, I could hear the footsteps. And I looked, and these cows were walking next to me the entire time. But it was so dark that by the time I tried pulling my camera out to take a photo, I was afraid of doing the flash on them, right? So I went for a walk yesterday. Chilly, man. It was chill. It's 50 degrees this morning. 52 degrees. Dude, these cows are just in the middle of the street doing nothing every night now. It's crazy.
Look at that, Christopher Leah. You should have jacked that mofo. Price of beef is wild. That's what I'm saying, dude. I just see steaks, barbecue, brisket.
USOA cows.
Be like, boom. So what was happened to that cow? What was his name? Gone.
Oh my goodness. They named this cow Pop because it should be put out to pasture.
I got that saying from one of my buddies back in the day, man. He had me freaking laughing. He had this little chihuahua, man, right? This tiny little chihuahua. And that chihuahua would not listen to him for nothing. And he had a hole in his fence. And he was trying to get the dog inside. And that little chihuahua, he was running after him. And we already had a couple of drinks. Mm-hmm. He was running up and down the yard trying to catch this little chihuahua. And he was quick. Kept going through the hole in the fence, He finally got tired of him. He put like a rock or something behind that hole in the fence to stop him so he could grab him and put him inside because he didn't want him to be running around and get loose, you know? And the next time I went to the house and I told him, hey, man, what happened to that little dog you were chasing? What was his name? Gone.
He's long. Let's pour one out for him and for Daisy. I think the cows were looking for Daisy. I think that's what they were doing, man. I'm of the belief that Daisy's with some family somewhere.
Oh, bet you she's with some little old lady. She's spoiling the shit out of her.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. Everyone loves Daisy. We had a comment there from Chris Lehouse saying, I'd run that cow down, he said. Let's show Chris Lehouse some love, MCS General Contracting, for that diamond hard concrete.
Yep. MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business. Honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
That diamond hard concrete, I'm a client myself. They did a sidewalk and a landing where I'm at. Did a fantastic job. I'm looking forward to working with them again in the future. Hey, today, week 7 of the NFL season gets going, so set your fantasy lineups. We have an interesting game involving my favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. It's interesting, not because it's a good matchup on the field.
It's a battle of what?
It's a battle of rookie quarterbacks.
There you go.
But it's also the return of Sean Payton to New Orleans. Sean Payton, who led the New Orleans Saints to a Super Bowl 15 some odd years ago.
He's going to get a standing ovation.
Who was a longtime coach of the team, controversial coach, in fact. Going to the Denver Broncos, he stopped coaching for a long while. Finally went with the Denver Broncos, has kind of imploded that team, trying to build it up in his image. He returns to the Saints. He returns to New Orleans for the first time as an opponent. So you have that dynamic, and then you have that dynamic of Bo Nix versus Spencer Rattler. Which rookie's going to come out on top?
I know you're excited about Rattler.
Dude, Rattler had a really good first half. and then got erratic in the second half last week. Saints coming in at 2-4, won the first 2 games, lost the next 4. The Saints have been competitive in all but one game. That one game was last week. The Broncos somehow 3-3. That team sucks, but they somehow are 3-3. They're a bad 3-3 team. These are 2 bad teams going at each other. One's got to win. One rookie's going to win. Let's see if Spencer Rattler's the guy. No Chris Olave, I don't believe. Chris Olave out with an injury because he had a concussion that he suffered in last week's game. So Raheem Shaheed will need to go off for the team. Again, that's going to be tonight. Let's take a look at other games this week. The Dallas Cowboys are off this week, so we know one thing for sure. They're not going to lose. 2 bad teams, Joe. Patriots and Jaguars.
Ugh.
That's going to be in London. Why do we send crappy teams over there? We send Jacksonville over there, but why do we send other crappy teams along with them?
You know why? Because they know that they're not going to be able to sell out the stadiums here in the States. You know what? Roger Goodell says, let's send them over the pond.
We're going to talk about that for a while because I heard yesterday that the damage to the Tampa Rays baseball facility is over $100 million, and it might not be ready for a long while.
That place is trash, dude. They might have to just go ahead and
Where are they going to play?
start over. San Antonio.
The Wolf.
No. Just say, hey, we're building a new stadium.
Burbank High School. We got the Seahawks at the Falcons. The Falcons should take that game. Somehow or another, the Falcons only favored by 3 in that game. Titans going to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Bills now have a new wide receiver in Amari Cooper. Battle of Ohio, Bengals at Browns. Bengals need to win this game in order to keep pace with or have any chance of making the playoffs. I saw this stat, Joe, the other day, and I don't know how accurate it is, but Deshaun Watson has gone like 30 some odd third downs in a row without a first down.
Yeah, his stats this year have even going back to last year, have been horrible, dude. They've been abysmal. Look at Christopher Leha. He's saying Olave out. Shaheed is out for the season, potentially needs knee surgery to his knee.
Yeah, we it's a busted team, dude. Cesar Ruiz is hurt. All of those guys.
Look at Sam Salinas. San Antonio Rays, baby.
Texans, Packers, big game. Big game Sunday at noon on CBS. 5-1 5-1 Texans visiting the 4-2 Packers. Texans finally put together a good game last week. They beat the living crap out of they beat the Bills a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, they did.
And they had a big game over the Patriots. Dolphins and Colts, that's a ho-hum game.
Oh, I don't know, man. That might actually be a lot better than advertised.
Well, I mean, when you got Joe Flacco winning games, Joe Flacco going to make the playoffs again, ain't he?
Bro. Flacco, man.
We talk about Burrow. We talk about all these Justin Herbert. And really, it's Joe Flacco making the playoffs.
You know what he reminds me of? That Keanu Reeves character from
The Replacements. Yeah.
That quarterback.
Dude, here's a big game. Lions at Vikings. The Lions 4-1 coming off a big old win at Jerry World, taking on the undefeated Minnesota Vikings. Dude, if Minnesota wins this game, I will officially believe that they're legit.
Hey,
I know they're one of 2 teams in the NFL that's still undefeated, but they beat the Lions to take a 2-game lead in the NFC North. I will become a believer.
You're gonna jump on that Minnesota Vikings bandwagon with Big Papi Brandon Medina?
Yes, I will. That'll be my Sancha team. NFC East matchup, got the Eagles and the Giants. Eagles coming in at 3-2. They need to win this game to keep pace with the Commanders. Raiders and Rams in the battle of what used to be the LA teams. Devontae Adams traded from the Raiders to the Jets. Rams are favored by 6.5 points. You got the Commanders, who should get an easy win. They got a really close rival coming in, the Carolina Panthers. Dude, Commanders might go 5-2.
These are trap games, man.
8.5 point spread. I understand what you're saying.
The trap game, dude.
But the Commanders kept pace with the Ravens last week.
I know, but I'm saying sometimes these teams play up to the talent in front of them, and if they get into that trap with this Panthers team, they might get surprised.
What if I told you the Kansas City Chiefs had undefeated at 5-0 or underdogs according to Vegas on the road against the San Francisco 49ers? 49ers at 3-3 need this game to get back above 500, favored by 1.5.
What time is that game?
That's a 3:25.
Yeah, that's one I'll definitely be watching. You know what's going to happen here, Mike. There's going to be a close game. The refs are going to
get in the way. Jets and Steelers. Jets again on prime time, and no one gives a damn. Jets coming at 2-4, Steelers at 4-2. Jets again. Aaron Rodgers has a new toy. Has a new wide receiver, Devontae Adams. And then the Monday night game, we got 2 of them. Ravens and Buccaneers. That's a good game. Chargers and Cardinals. Could be a good game. Only 2 teams have a bye this week, the Chicago Bears and your Dallas Cowboys. Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs. Don't forget to follow him at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Let's show him some love. He does that daily content when it comes to the Spurs.
Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/at Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah, I subscribe on Spotify and on YouTube. You can find it in other places wherever you get your podcasts. You could also go to kens5.com to watch his stories. Jeff Garcia pointing out the fact that another former Spur has retired. First, it was Danny Green, who announced his retirement a few days ago. Now, Aaron Baines. 2 words for Aaron Baines. Thanks, man. Remember when he got drunk after one of the playoff games and Tim's holding him up? And everyone's like, someone said, hey, great game, man. And he goes, thanks, man. I'll always remember Aaron Baines. Aaron Baines looking like he walked out of a YMCA gym to go play for the Spurs back in the day.
That guy was a douchebag, man.
He was?
He was, dude. I had somebody, I can't say who it was, tell me a story about him. So they had put Aaron Baines, right, at one point early on in his career. They made him go over to Austin, right, to go play with the G League team. He wasn't happy about it. Pissed off the whole night, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Gets out of the arena. Somebody says, great game, Aaron. And he looks straight at him. Because he told him in passing, right? Great game, Aaron. Looks straight at the guy and says, fuck you. And then gets in his car. He tears off down the parking lot. He's good side of control because it rained, right? And he goes and hits all these cars that are parked on the side, right? On his way out. Spurs Sports and Entertainment had to go and pay for the damages to the cars that he hit on the way out. Didn't care. Didn't stop.
Aaron Baines, he was the, what do they call him? The celebratory cigar.
Yeah.
You just put him in when the game was basically already over. Jeff Garcia has an article that he talks about that came from Sports Illustrated where Wemby named his favorite Star Wars characters. And Harrison Ingram of the Spurs, 2nd-round draft pick that the Spurs got. Article about him and the fact that Pop doesn't know what to do with him. And I'm going to tell you what to do with him. Nothing. You know why? 2nd-rounders don't matter. 2nd-rounders don't matter. That's Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken. So, by the way, I'm going to be the guest. I'm scheduled to be the guest on Locked On Spurs tomorrow. I think we're talking about Jeremy Sohan. Why is he bringing me on for that, Joe?
I don't know. Toner and Aaron Baines is a dog. Those are rumors, Joe. Fake news. No, it's not fake news. It actually happened, man. I'm telling you.
Joe, how interested were you in the WNBA finals yesterday?
Not very interested. I didn't watch. Because you know why I didn't watch? Because work is ridiculous right now, dude. They sent out this company-wide email to everybody over something stupid, right? So these people keep calling us, man, about the same issue over and over. I can't say what it is because they won't let me, but it's asinine, dude. And I'm trying to watch, my games and trying to watch stuff at the same time, and I can't. Yeah. I have it on the TV, even though it's there. I'm not able to watch it because I'm too busy working. Usually in the evening, things slow down, but nope, not yesterday, dude. So I was like trying to watch it, and I finally gave up, dude. It's like, I can't, man.
Well, the Liberty won Game 3 yesterday. Sabrina Ionescu knocked down the game-winning 3, basically at the buzzer to seal it. She shot it basically from the logo, Joe, about 30 feet out to win the game. Unfortunately, there it goes. Called one of the biggest shots in WNBA history. 19,000 people were there. I like this, Joe. 30
Money.
feet out, money, win the game. Liberty take a 2-1 lead in the series.
We're gonna talk about that, Elias. I got that coming up in the last segment of the show.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna get
okay.
there. We're gonna get there.
Okay. You know what? Do you want to do it now? Or do you want to talk
to?
to entertainment news? Well, you know what? Let's do the entertainment news first, man, because it's we can have fun with the whole thing involving Angel Reese a little bit later.
All right, so we're gonna do the entertainment bump, I guess.
Sure.
Nope. Let me go ahead and get that going. I forget that I have to do this all the time. I got to switch. Hold on. Now we can do it.
So TMZ is being criticized right now for showing the photo of Liam Payne as his dead body laid on the ground there in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Liam Payne, who is a pop star, formerly of the pop band One Direction, the boy band from England. He died falling off of a hotel room window. I don't know if it's a balcony or a window. TMZ showed the photos. They zoomed in.
That's gross.
They pixelated his face apparently, but you could see his arms, you could see his legs, you could see his body, his tattoos. You could tell that it was him. There are questions as to whether or not this was a committed of suicide or if it was an accident or not. Local authorities are saying that he, quote, jumped from the balcony.
And
45 feet to his death.
That's sad, man, if that's the case, dude. I mean, you never know what people are going through. And, I can tell you that personally, I've had family and close friends commit suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And you always wonder, man, if only I would have been able to talk with them. If only they had reached out. If only,
right.
And you go through these scenarios. But at the end of the day, I mean, you can only do so much. The rest is really in their hands. And unfortunately, sometimes they succumb to, mental illness or depression. It's a real thing. You just never know what somebody else is going through. So every time you check up on a friend and you call them and you see them, you talk with them, always make sure you tell them you love them, dude. You never know what somebody else is going through.
This hit me in a different way. Hit me in a variety of different ways. First of all, I hate it whenever a superstar dies for whatever reason way before they're supposed to, right? Liam Payne, I believe, was 31 years old. And One Direction is a massive band in Europe. Harry Styles came from that band. Harry Styles, who won basically every Grammy the last couple of years, all the big Grammys, was a member of One Direction. Zayn was a member of One Direction. Everybody in that group had a hit. Now, Liam Payne had suffered from substance abuse. And in fact, he had gone to a facility in Louisiana recently, which I thought was kind of weird because the guy's from England. What's he doing here in Louisiana, right, getting treatment? But apparently he had fallen off the wagon, and whether he committed suicide or if this was an accident or whatever, he might have just been tweaking, right, off of the drugs or off of the alcohol or whatever. I'm sure more details will come out. But first of all, shame on TMZ for showing the photo. Okay. They took it down because it was too graphic. I understand photos of bodies happen all the time, but it was too graphic.
Yeah, man, that's in poor taste, dude. If somebody, passed away, why would you want to show the body? Why would you want to do that? There's no place for that, man. He has family, he's got a mom, parents, siblings. Nobody wants to see that.
So they got a 911 call yesterday, according to Sky News and the BBC, that the hotel's chief receptionist called police worried about Payne's behavior, told reporters that it assumed that somebody was under the influence of alcohol and or drugs, and that he needed to come urgently to the location. Throughout the call, Payne's name was not mentioned. Goes on to say that he was on the balcony and that people were afraid that he was going to threaten his life. One Direction, again, members Harry Styles, Zayn Malik, Neil Horan, all who had hit songs. Lewis Tomlinson, also a member. They were created by the X Factor UK back in 2010. That's one of those things that involved Simon Cowell from American Idol fame back in the day. He's the one that helped put this band together, along with, I believe it was Nicole Scherzinger from the Pussycat Dolls. couple of things about this. I had a text conversation with my daughter about this yesterday because she's a big One Direction fan.
Yeah.
And I was telling her that it's weird whenever you have one of your favorite singers pass away, right? In my lifetime, I've had Kurt Cobain die. I've had Lane Staley, Scott Weiland, Chris Cornell, Chester Bennington. And for those who are Prince, and for those who are fans of like Amy Winehouse and fans of Selena and stuff like that, we have our part of our youth dies when our music dies. And it's just so sad. Now, you mentioned somebody going through an issue like a depression
man,
and whatnot.
yeah.
There was an incident back in about 99 or 2000 when I was at a party in Corpus Christi, Texas, and one of the reporters was threatening to jump out of a hotel window. And it happened. We were having a party there. I don't know what party we were having, someone's birthday or whatever. We all rented a hotel room. And we weren't all going to stay there, but we rented a hotel room just to like party at. It was like at the Omni, one of the big hotels over there. And one of the reporters had 80% of her body out the window.
Oh, man.
She had broken up with another reporter at the station, was all depressed. She was somebody who drank super heavily. Every day was drunk off her ass. Almost died. And it was me and another person who got her back into the room.
Damn.
Now, I was the secondary in holding her because it was a friend of mine who had like the majority of her body, but I had a leg, and we brought her back in.
Damn.
And I now go on Facebook, and we became friends on Facebook years later. And I see photos of her with kids now, and I think to myself, those photos with her kids wouldn't have happened if either one of us had let go.
Yeah.
I didn't save her life. I think my friend saved her life. I just helped. But there are people who are troubled, man, and they're not in the right mind. Liam Payne had everything in the world, dude. He had money, he had fame, he could have had any woman he wanted. But because of drugs and whatnot, he became allegedly an abusive person too to his ex. It's very, very tragic. It's sad to see, man. But Liam Payne passed away at the age of 31. Shame on TMZ for being too graphic with what they did. You know that they did wrong when they removed it right away.
Oh, yeah, dude. You know, no other outlets are showing stuff like that. You know, they're saying, what happened, reporting on what happened. I'm sure people are heartbroken about the whole loss, but 31 years young, dude, that's still a lot of life left to live,
I was looking at like, you're right. And I was looking at like his songs. You might say, who is he? Well, he had a song called Strip That Down about 5 years ago with Quavo. 1 billion listens on Spotify, Joe. Not including Apple Music and all that stuff or Pandora. Yeah. 1 billion. He had a song called Get Low that has 200 million listens. A song with Rita Ora called For You that has nearly 500 million listens on Spotify. The guy was a big time guy, especially in Europe, dead at the age of 31. And now that you can't have a reunion tour without him, right? That's what everyone was hoping for. That Harry Styles and Zayn and all these guys would get back together. It just gets me in the feels, Joe. Not in a good way, man. It hurts me. It hurts me to see that. Chris Leah was saying that there's video of him jumping that might be out there. I'm not going to go searching for it.
No, I'm not doing none of that stuff. Like I said, I have had family and friends that have succumbed to suicide, and that's not something I wish on anybody or any family for that matter, because when people do these, types of things and they leave this world because of those means, it affects everybody, man, and in a bad way.
Now, speaking of Rita Ora, she was in concert yesterday getting emotional about it all. Talking about Liam Payne. They had that one hit song together as well. He was in Argentina to support one of his former One Direction bandmates who's performing over there, a solo show.
Yeah.
And then he goes off and either jumps off or falls off, whatever it was, man. Liam Payne dead at the age of 31.
Yeah, man. So say a prayer for his family, dude. Keep him in prayer.
Yeah, Simon Cowell says they're canceling Britain's Got Talent taping because of the death. Again, Simon Cowell and his production people put One Direction together back in the day. Let's get excited. Let's get a little bit happy, Joe.
Yeah, let's get happy.
So, first of all, let's show me some love. You could throw my
I'll
my
get it
number
right
out
now.
there. As of today, Joe, I did the math. I now manage $15.77 million in retirement assets. $15.77 million. I was at zero 4 years ago, man. I restarted my business about 3 or 4 years ago, back during COVID, brought it back up. Someone gives me 10,000, someone gives me 50, someone gives me 100, a million, whatever the case may be. You add it all up, it's 15.77. My goal is to get to 20 million by the end of next year. I should get there probably in about 6 months or so. I love doing retirement planning. So retirement strategies. So people who have IRAs, 401ks, old accounts, old IRAs elsewhere, old 401ks elsewhere, bring them to me. I can help strategize for you. I am a fiduciary. Everything I say and do needs to be in the client's best interest. I also do life insurance. This past month, I've sold 3 life insurance policies. Take care of your family. Right now, why are they all getting their policies? They're saying it's open enrollment at work, and they want to do something bigger and better. Today, I'm working with somebody who is in his 60s who has prostate cancer or had prostate cancer and is trying to leave behind an estate for his kids. It's a dicey situation. I have to talk to underwriters. I have to make sure that all ducks are in a row so we can get this guy qualified potentially. So that's what I'm working on. So again, if you have needs for insurance, whether it be disability, long-term care, life insurance, or retirement planning, or you have a question about investments themselves, doesn't have to be retirement related, give me a call, 210-508-0369, 210-508-0369. And, if you have a friend or somebody who's leaving their job, getting a new job someplace, guess what? They can roll their old 401k to me, 210-508-0369. Okay, so I suppose we need to talk about the MLB playoffs. I mean, do we just give the score, Joe? Is that what we're going to do? Because,
We could talk about
it does nothing for me, dude. Tonight we have Cleveland Yankees game 3, 4:00 on TBS. Yankees lead that series 2-0. We have the Dodgers up 2-1. That game's going to be at 7:00 on FS1, taking on the Mets. Potential Subway Series, but Yankees Dodgers would be huge, Joe. Just for ratings' sake, would be huge. But you know what? Move it on over.
Worst infomercial ever.
There's only so much I can say, Sam. Only so much I can say. Tanal says, JHB, that is too early again. Death and retirement planning. That's right, baby. That's right. All right, so what happened to my girl Angel Reese?
Oh, God. A lot of things happened to her, man. She came out on the X. I even shared the video here.
I saw it.
Go ahead and get that. And it's her talking about basically what's going on with her and how much money she's making. So let me share this.
He ain't pays them bills, baby. I just hope y'all know the WNBA don't pay my bills at all. I don't even think that pays one of my bills. Literally. I'm trying to think of my rent for where I stay at. I'm gonna do the math real quick.
It might cover that. Yeah, it
Is it
covers
like-
that. It
is
definitely
it-
covers that.
What is my, I don't even know my salary. 74? Okay. Times,
Here, I'll do it.
yeah. I don't even know my salary. Does it? Let me see. You don't even. Yo! I'm living beyond my means. It's like. No, my rent is more than that. It's 8,000. I'm living beyond my means. Like y'all think, babe. If y'all thought.
Okay,
There you
so
go.
Angel Reese talking about her income. Now, for many years, people have complained about WNBA salaries, right? Because they're literally pennies on the dollar, if that, to what NBA stars get. But Angel Reese is a superstar with Chicago, champion at LSU a few years ago, going out and saying that her rent in Chicago is $8,000 per month, that she's living beyond her means when it comes to it. So we had somebody who reached out to me on social media yesterday saying that she's living beyond her means and that she should live someplace that's less expensive, whatever the case may be. The normal rule of thumb, Joe, is that 28% of your income should go towards your housing. It's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Try not to be above 28%. So if you use that as a number there, she needs to make $343,000 per year in order to justify an $8,000 a month rent. So she doesn't make enough from WNBA to live there, because WNBA, they're paying her $73,000 a year. She gets paid $6,000 a month from the WNBA, right? She gets paid essentially what, a little bit more than a teacher to be a WNBA star. It's the endorsements, though, because she has endorsements from Reebok, Raising Cane, Coach, Wingstop, Amazon, McDonald's, PlayStation, Outback Steakhouse, Bose, Discord, Xfinity, TurboTax, Dick's Sporting Goods, Mercedes-Benz. Her endorsements, Joe, $1.7 million a year. She gets paid 97% of her income off of endorsements and only 3% off of her salary. But it's kind of funny, though, Joe, because the WNBA salaries were crap for a reason, but they're going to get better now because you've got bigger names out there. Should she have done that? Should she have gone out there? I don't care. Like, I don't think it was a good look. I don't think it was a bad look. I just think it was a truthful look. The truthful look is WNBA players have salaries that resemble teachers. And they live in big market cities. A teacher in Chicago is probably making $73,000. She's a star of the WNBA team there in Chicago, making that amount. That's the point that she's making. Right or wrong, Joe?
See, the thing is, you're making $74,000 a year, right? Gotta live within your means. Why are you trying to go ahead and live beyond the means? As far as this, how much you're making from your WNBA deal, right?
Right.
Because you're on your rookie contract.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting endorsements. Yeah, this is roughly about, you said 1.7 mil after taxes. What does that look like?
Well, I mean, I'm sure she's bringing in $1 million after taxes and paying her agent.
But I'm saying you got some bills to pay too, because you have your people that take care of you, right? Your PR people behind the scenes. She has probably a stylist, things of that nature. You know,
give me a number. Give me a number of the 1.7 plus 100,000. That's 1.8 million after taxes. Paying her people. What do you think she rakes in? What do you think hits her bank account?
Really? At the end of the day, I think she's probably right around $1 million.
Okay, let's use $1 million. Let's use less than that. Let's use 800,000. Okay.
And I'm just saying, look, man, if you're paying $8,000 on rent, that's not a good business decision. You want to own your property.
So, but the thing is that she is a basketball player. She's not going to live there forever. So based on an $800,000 a year salary, net, right? She should be paying in rent $20,000 a month.
Okay, and she's paying
or paying a mortgage about 20. She's living well within her means.
Yeah, but I'm saying
she's making a crack at her salary at the WNBA.
I get that, but I'm saying you're saying that you are paying $8,000 a year or a month, right? For your mortgage, right? For your rent. Why?
So we had somebody says who says hate the chick's personality? Who's that one?
That was Sith.
Hate her personality. She's an influencer or something. Yeah, she's an influencer. That's the whole point. She's more focused on online content, having her ass out. Guess what? That's making her money.
You know who doesn't have to do that, though? Somebody put in the chat. Caitlin Clark.
No one wants to watch Caitlin Clark's ass.
But she is a baller and she's making money.
Caitlin Clark has no personality.
She's making money, more money than Angel Reese.
Well, she should be. She's a bigger star than Angel Reese.
She's got those other deals, man.
But here's the thing. Caitlin Clark's not an influencer. She's not. She's not going to make influencer money. You think Caitlin Clark's going to be representing Coach?
No, but she's making money representing Nike.
There you go.
She's making a lot of money.
There you go. But the point is this. We see Jason Kelsey and Travis Kelsey go and do their podcasts.
Making more money.
We see podcasts out there from athletes. We see Shaq tried to become, and Kobe both tried to become rappers, right? We see all these stars who try to go into movies, all that stuff. The hatred that you give an Angel Reese is not the same energy is not given towards the dudes who go out there and freelance and do what they do. Freaking man, there was a time when Michael Jordan was on every damn commercial out there. You couldn't go anywhere without seeing Michael Jordan's face. So she's gonna go out there and make $1.7 million. Damn straight she's gonna do that. You know why? Because you're only young once. Her body's only gonna be like that for a certain number of years. Let her make her money. Let her ass hang out all over the place. Sith, you're not her target audience, dude. You're not.
If you're going to be doing that, why don't you just go with Twin Peaks? Go work at Twin Peaks or Hooters.
Because she's making $1.7 million, and the girls at Hooters are making $100 a night.
I'm just like, come on, man. There's other ways to make money. Go get your endorsement deals, man.
She does. Why not have both?
Apparently, it ain't enough. She's making fun of her WNBA salary, dude. Like, you don't like it? It's the collective bargaining agreement, man. That's what they got in place for you guys.
Caitlin Clark has a $28 million endorsement deal that includes Nike, Gatorade, Bose, and State Farm. So they both represent Bose. Caitlin Clark with that State Farm money.
Now look at this. Angel Reese just doesn't let it die, man.
Caitlin Clark has morals, though. Just saying. How do you know?
I'm just saying.
No. JHNSB. How do you know? You know what? How do you know that they have morals? How do you know that one is better morals than the other? We don't know any of these people. You don't know. Dude, back in the day, I used to go to the Spurs. I'm not going to go into the Spurs, man. A lot of those guys were not what you think they are.
Look at Angel Reese. She's still going at it, dude. They have this on the X right now. Angel Reese said the WNBA is just her side hustle. That little video that she did, they were just going to roll with it, man. All over.
Anna Kournikova back in the day, Maria Sharapova. You look at tennis, Serena Williams. They all made more money off the court than they did on the court. That's true.
That is true.
Women's sports pays less. You got to go model. You got to go be an influencer to make more.
OnlyFans now? Is that what they do?
That's not what they do, Joe. Although there was that one girl that won Olympian.
Paige Sporonic.
Yeah, but she doesn't get naked.
No, I'm not saying she does, but that's OnlyFans, right?
Yeah, she has OnlyFans and Patreon or whatever, but yeah. she don't get naked. She's not.
Oh, you know what we're going to have tomorrow? Are we going to have Johnny Walker on?
I believe so.
We're going to be talking about UT football.
UT football. They got Georgia this week? Is that who they got this week?
They got Georgia this week. They were saying who was a better mascot, Uga or Bevo?
That's a good one. You know what? They're both top tier. I can't pick one over the other, dude. I can't.
I got to go with Bevo, man, because Bevo almost lanced Uga that last time. Remember that?
Yeah, and that's just stupid to bring a freaking Longhorn onto a football field. All those people.
Hey, man, Uga wanted to F around and found out.
Very, very nice. Everyone have a fantastic day. The weather is wonderful here in San Antonio. It got down to the 50s this morning. Looking at it. But according to weatherchannel.com, December to February might be a little bit warmer than normal when it comes to it all. But I never believe those projections, dude. You always hear the projections about like the hurricane season. And it's like, oh, there's going to be a lot of hurricanes. And then there's nothing. Highs today in the low 80s. Upper 70s. Not bad. I'll take it, baby. I'll take it all day, every day.
A good day, man.
Oh, by the way, we got to pour one out for somebody real fast. This is it's not pouring one out in the sense of something bad happening. But one of our favorite people from the Weather Channel, she got herself engaged. Congratulations to my girl, Felicia Combs, one of my celebrity crushes. Felicia Combs. I know you like the girls from the Spanish stations, whatever. But when it comes to American stations, Felicia Combs is it, dude. Got engaged. Made the announcement yesterday on Instagram. Not bad. Nugget, Joe?
She good, yeah. She
good. She good.
She ain't as hot as those girls from the Telemundo.
Well, I think she is.
No.
You know why? Because she has education.
No.
She's educated. I don't.
You don't need
dude,
education to hold up the.
Nah, big booty hoes don't do it, dude. Oh
Yeah, you see, look at what you're looking at.
Anna the Thickie.
Mike.
Anna the Thickie coming out. Demon Mike is out. Anna the Thickie. Is this your favorite Camino Real girl, Joe?
Thickie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Anna with there's Jessica in the back. They're doing they're doing commercials now with the girls from Austin who kind of mimic them. Now Jessica said that that's her cousin, but I don't know if that's just like shtick or not. Our girls from Camino Real. Anyway, good times.
Yeah, one day you'll get them on here.
if you had to choose which one to get on, would you want? I'm trying to think of them. There's Anna, there's Jess, and the middle one is Sophie. There you go.
Yeah, that's Sophie one, the one that does like
the boxing.
The boxing, yeah, that'd be cool to get her on because we can talk boxing and like what's her experience being a translator and stuff. You know, for some of the biggest names in boxing.
We'll make it happen. Yeah, I'll send some emails out today. Joe, have a fantastic day. Everyone have a fantastic night. We'll be back tomorrow. Johnny Walker talking with us about UT football, and we'll talk about the NFL Week 7 ahead. We'll be back tomorrow.